The birth of a city beside the river thousands of years ago, along the powerful Euphrates River in ancient Mesopotamia, a small settlement slowly began to grow. Over time, this settlement would become Babylon, one of the most legendary cities in human history. The land around the river was fertile, allowing farmers to grow barley, wheat, and dates. Irrigation canals carried water across fields, helping communities survive the hot climate. Traders began passing through the region, carrying copper, wood fabrics, and precious stones from distant lands. As trade increased, houses multiplied, and temples rose above the settlement. What began as a modest riverside town gradually turned into a busy center of commerce and culture. People from surrounding villages moved there, seeking opportunity, safety, and prosperity. Over generations, the town expanded, streets became crowded with markets, and Babylon slowly prepared to become one of the most powerful cities the ancient world would ever see. The rise of a powerful kingdom. Babylon's real rise began during the reign of Hammurabi in the 18th century BC. Hammurabi was not just a ruler, but a strategist and organizer who united many cities of Mesopotamia under Babylonian control. Through diplomacy, alliances, and military campaigns, he expanded Babylon's influence across a vast region. His most famous achievement was creating one of the earliest written law systems in history, known as the Code of Hammurabi. These laws were carved into stone and displayed publicly, so citizens could understand the rules governing their society. The code covered everything from trade and property to family life and justice. Under Hammurabi's leadership, Babylon became a center of administration, culture, and legal authority. Large defensive walls were constructed around the city to protect its growing population. Markets flourished as merchants sold textiles, grains, spices, and pottery. Schools trained scribes to write using cuneiform on clay tablets. Babylon had transformed from a regional town into the heart of a powerful empire. A city of wealth and wonders. Centuries passed, and Babylon continued evolving into one of the most magnificent cities on earth. Massive walls surrounded the city, towering high above the surrounding plains. Travelers approaching Babylon would first see its enormous gates decorated with brilliant, glazed bricks and colorful images of lions and dragons. Among these entrances, the famous Ishtar Gate stood as a symbol of the city's grandeur. Inside the walls stretched wide streets, bustling marketplaces, and towering temples dedicated to the gods of Mesopotamia. The skyline was dominated by enormous ziggurats, step temple towers that reached toward the sky. Priests conducted rituals, while scribes recorded religious ceremonies and trade agreements on clay tablets. During the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II in the 6th century BC, the city reached its architectural peak. According to ancient descriptions, Nebuchadnezzar built the legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon, terraces filled with trees, flowers, and flowing water rising high above the city. Whether myth or reality, these gardens became one of the ancient world's most famous wonders and strengthened Babylon's reputation as the greatest city of its age. Everyday life in Babylon. While kings built monuments and temples, ordinary life continued within Babylon's crowded streets. Merchants sold bread, fish, dates, and vegetables in busy markets. Craftsmen shaped pottery, forged metal tools, and created jewelry from gold and silver. Families lived in mud brick houses built along narrow alleys where children played and neighbors gathered in courtyards. Religion played a central role in daily life. Temples organized festivals where music, prayers, and offerings filled the streets with celebration. Priests guided religious ceremonies, while astronomers studied the stars from temple towers, laying the foundations for early astronomy schools. Trained young scribes to read and write cuneiform, allowing them to record contracts, letters, and government records. Trade connected Babylon to distant regions, including Egypt, Persia, and lands far beyond Mesopotamia. Caravans arrived with exotic goods, creating a lively and diverse city where languages and cultures mixed together. The power and the fragility, despite its wealth and strength. Babylon was not immune to the shifting tides of history. Rival kingdoms constantly competed for control of Mesopotamia's fertile lands. Empires rose and fell across the region, bringing new rulers and changing alliances. In 539 BC, the Persian King Cyrus the Great marched toward Babylon with a powerful army. Surprisingly, the city fell with little resistance. Cyrus entered Babylon peacefully and allowed many local traditions and religious practices to continue. Under Persian rule, the city remained important for some time, but its political power gradually declined. New capitals emerged within the Persian Empire, drawing attention and resources away from Babylon. Over time, trade routes shifted, administrative centers moved elsewhere, and the once dominant city slowly lost its influence. The fall of the great city by around 480 BC, Babylon's glory had begun fading. Revolts against Persian rule weakened the city, and many of its monuments were damaged during political struggles. Some temples fell into disrepair, and parts of the once magnificent walls were abandoned. The bustling markets that once welcomed traders from distant lands became quieter. Over generations, the population declined as people moved toward new cities rising across the ancient world. Slowly, the greatest city of Mesopotamia began turning into ruins. Wind and sand covered streets that had once echoed with merchants and priests. What remained were fragments of walls, broken tablets, and silent stones scattered across the desert landscape. The legacy that never disappeared, all of them. Eventually declined, its legacy continued shaping civilization for thousands of years. The laws of Hammurabi influenced later legal traditions. Babylonian astronomy contributed to the study of planets and stars. Architectural achievements such as monumental gates and temple towers inspired future cultures across the Middle East and beyond. Even today, the name Babylon remains one of the most powerful symbols in history, representing both extraordinary wealth and the rise and fall of human ambition. The ruins that still stand in modern-day Iraq remind us that even the greatest cities are not eternal. Empires rise, flourish brilliantly, and eventually fade, yet the story of Babylon continues to echo through time, reminding us of a city that once stood at the very center of the ancient world.